All right, Dave, it is time to ask you the trivia question that we ask you at the beginning of every show. We always ask you a trivia question either about the show or just simple trivia to see whether or not you know the answer. Here's your
I'm
trivia
always good
question.
at this.
This is about me, Dave. We've been friends for, 20 years? 20 some odd years?
I would say more like 58.
Feels like that sometimes. Dave, what are my cats' names?
Wait, what's his name? Miles is one.
That is true. I do have one cat named Miles after Miles Davis.
And then the other cat is named Curtis after your middle name. And then there's also Felix.
Okay, well, you did get one of my cats.
There's
and
Eddie.
And then I do have a second cat. His name is Dizzy after Dizzy Gillespie. So
that was
Miles
nice.
and Dizzy. All right, Dave. Friends for 20 years. Everybody check us out at Six Unseemly on all social media at unseemlyquestions.com. Let's get the show started. Welcome to Six Unseemly Questions. I'm your host, Victor Varnado. This is my sidekick, Dave Rosinsky. We've got a great contestant on the show today. Please put your hands together for Tracy McClendon. Come on up,
right.
Tracy. Hello. Thanks for coming. In their studio audience, so we have Ian, John, and Dave Hill. Wonderful. Thank you for being in the studio audience, everyone.
Welcome to the show.
Great to have all of you. All right. So here we go. Tracy, I'm going to tell you how the show works, and then we're going to get started, okay? I'm going to ask you 6 unseemly questions. At the end of each question, I'll ring a bell if I like your answer, like this. However, if I do not like your answer, I will not ring a bell, and I'll tell you why. Regardless of how many bells you get at the end of the show, we'll decide whether or not it's worth giving you $5 whole for your appearance on the show. All right. Are you ready to get started?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. It is time for question number 1. Question number 1. How has your life changed since the pandemic?
Oh, God. Well, I was living in an apartment on my own, and now I live in my parents' basement with mold and a hole in the ceiling.
That's a change, and a knock at your parents' house.
But in a positive way, I was single for like 13 years before the pandemic, and now I'm in a loving relationship that's over a year long. So hooray for me.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You think the mold helped with that at all, or?
I think that desperation got the best of both of us for human connection. No, it's very nice. I don't know. I feel like the end of the world. I've always been like, what is this love story happening in the middle of War of the Worlds? And then I'm like, you know what? Actually, low key, got to be cracking one out every now and then in a end of the world situation.
I mean, I agree. An apocalypse is very erotic.
I never knew until I had my personal experience with that. And now I'm like, you know what? This makes total sense.
That is a great answer. You know what? I'm going to give you a bell. Here we go.
Hooray.
There you have it. That was your first question. And it's time for question number 2. But before we do that, can you tell people out there what you do?
I'm a stand-up comedian. I also work for a redacted company. I work for a streaming company, so not allowed to talk about it or the content. I don't know why I brought it up if I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah,
probably should have just stuck with the stand-up. I'm a stand-up comedian. I do stand-up, so catch me on these streets. I'm in the city in Long Island.
All right, great, Tracy, stand-up comedian and works for the NSA. Wonderful. It's time for question number 2. Question number 2. Who's that baby in your Instagram?
Oh, that baby. Okay, so that's my sister's baby. His name is Trey. He's named after me. Mm-hmm. We look alike. I did not know that my sister was pregnant till the day she gave birth, so he's a little surprised, nephew. But yeah, so that's my nephew.
I have 2 questions that leads to a combined question. If your sister is close enough to name her baby after you, how is it that you didn't know she was pregnant with said baby?
Honestly, I don't really have a great explanation for not knowing, because we lived together during her whole pregnancy.
What? And you lived together and you didn't know until the baby was born and she named it after you?
Yeah, we lived together. I saw her like exit the shower completely naked several times in the time that she was like deeply pregnant. And she just didn't tell me. And I literally looked at her stomach and I was like, wow, Carmen looks kind of pregnant. And then I was like, man, Tracy, body shaming is not okay. It's 2019. Like, come on. And then she had a whole baby, and I was like, I probably should have just been like, is that a baby in your belly, or what's happening there?
So she wasn't actively hiding it from you.
I mean, she was, because she didn't tell me. But like, yeah, I also it was a weird, like, I was like, well, no, she's not pregnant, because she would have told me, hey, I'm pregnant, and then like she had a baby.
Wow.
Did you know that she was your sister while you were living with her? Or did you just find that out too?
That's a fair question. Yes, I did know that she was my sister.
Lady?
I have to say, I have to say this deserves a bell. I'm just saying, keep going, but it deserves a bell.
I know. I shamelessly used my family drama to earn a bell, so I'm glad that worked out in my favor. Yeah, she went into labor as she was cooking me dinner.
Wow.
Whoa.
And she finished
That's
the
a nice
dinner.
Sister right there.
She would she'd go in her room, go on all fours without telling me that she's having labor pains, come back out and like finish the beans, and then she's like, dinner's all ready, and I was like, aren't you having a plate? And she's like, no. And then she went into the room and was just like screeching out weird noises, and I was like, that's weird.
Wow. Is it like, do you guys live in a commune or something?
No, it was I truly don't have an it's 100% true, but I don't have an explanation for why I wasn't like, that seems like labor.
All right. Well, I also have no explanation after hearing your story to its completion. All right. It is time for question number 3. Question number 3. During the apocalypse, would you murder other people?
For sure. Yes.
Very quickly. You would murder other people.
Yeah, definitely.
You're just sure of it.
Premeditated.
Is that easy to answer? What do you think, Ian? Would you murder other people during the apocalypse?
No.
Well,
I don't want to. I want it to be over for me as quick as possible. I don't want to live through the whole thing. I don't want to see what's next.
Oh, what if it's a zombie apocalypse?
Basically,
same answer. Same
Got
answer.
it.
Yep.
Dave, would you murder other people during the apocalypse?
I don't think so.
Oh,
you don't think so? But there's a part of you saying like, well, if I have to survive.
Well, it sounds, pretty crazy. If I guess, or if I'm being attacked in some way, maybe I would. But or maybe I would. I don't know. You never know until it's happening. Maybe I would just run.
Oh, I know.
Probably not.
I for sure would. I would. You got to play offense on murders during the apocalypse, or you become the murdered during the apocalypse. You got to kill like one person in front of a group of people so that everybody knows that like you're capable of it.
That's
then,
like Jailhouse. Go Jailhouse.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, like if you want to be the weird like Skull King in a Mad Max situation, you got to kill the first person. Otherwise, you're the guy on the leash to the Skull King.
That's true.
So you gotta stick and move. You know what I mean?
I was thinking, I don't know if I want to kill somebody, but when you mentioned being the guy on the leash, I'm like, well, hell no, I have to kill.
Well, yeah, I'm not.
I have to kill.
Yeah, I'm not killing because I have bloodlust. I'm killing because I'm like, if I don't kill someone, I'm gonna like everyone's like, look at that girl smelling daisies in the apocalypse. We got to put her on a leash, and I'm not getting put on a leash.
All right, you know what?
Apocalypse.
You've convinced me. Here we go. I'm just saying, you've convinced me.
Nice.
Thank you.
Wow, I don't want to be the guy on the leash, I guess.
I want to be Skull King too.
Everybody wants to be Skull King, but you gotta do Skull King things if you want to be Skull King.
You have to be the guy on the leash. Couldn't you be like Skull King errand boy guy?
Yeah, but even Skull King errand guy has at least 2 bodies on his resume. The guy on the leash has killed no one. Because if he were gonna kill someone, he'd kill Skull King, and then he wouldn't be on the leash anymore. But he's out here allowing himself to be leashed.
What if he's like really into it, and then he's the real ruler, like he's like a sub from the bottom sort of dude, like Dom from the bottom. What do they call that? I forget exactly the phraseology.
Topping from the bottom.
Topping from the bottom, exactly. And what if he's just like he's actually the real Skull King?
I mean, sure, it's never looked that way from the depictions of the leash person.
All right.
in my experience, but to each his or her own.
Noted. All right. It is time for question number 4. Question number 4. Are you a good office worker?
I am an efficient office worker. It depends on what somebody's definition is. I'm not good for office chat. I'm not good for if you're somebody's like, hey, what's going on in this cubicle? You'd think I'm a bad coworker because I don't like small talk. So I'm just like, please get away from my desk. But all of the tasks will be done at the end of the day. So I don't.
So you mean you're good for the company, but you're not good as a part of the community?
Yeah, I'm good for the company, but I'm not good for company. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I totally get it. Yep.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to say no bell for that
Sure.
company pun at the end.
Oh, man. I can't help myself.
Well, I think we've talked on the internet a little bit about how I feel about puns, and you came on my show and dropped one anyway. So
they are my lifeblood.
They are your lifeblood.
I love puns.
I get it. A lot of people do like puns, but again, those people are peasants, and that's peasant humor.
It feels like I'm being punished.
Victor, you
yeah.
Nice one. Victor, you came on the show and dropped one also. So
what are you talking about, Dave?
I gave you an opportunity to make one of your poop jokes, but you don't want to. So
thank you, Dave. Thank you for that opportunity. I'm sorry I squandered it. All right, it's time for question number 5. Question number 5. Have you played Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes.
You get a bell because I like Dungeons and Dragons and you've played it, so you're okay in my book.
I like being a troubadour or a rogue every now and again, and I'm usually a chaotic neutral or a chaotic good.
I got it. I mean, I feel like I like Dungeons and Dragons. Here's the thing: I like sitting around being in a role-playing game. I hate rules. Sure. I like them to be as simple as possible.
Chaos alignment.
No. I mean the game itself. The actual playing of the game, the mechanical playing the game. I hate when there's too many things to look up. It's a simple dice roll and then you go on.
I also don't strictly. I play with people who we're definitely just making shit up as we go along. So it's usually fun.
I agree. That's the way I like it too. I like that. I think when I was young, when I was a kid and we were playing Dungeons and Dragons, like when I was like maybe 14, we were just like digging through every single rule and how much every person could move per turn.
Yeah.
And I realized that was a lot of work. It wasn't the fun part. The fun part was just the ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. I guess we've done great product placement for Dungeons and Dragons for no reason.
As usual.
As usual, says Dave Rosinsky. He not a big fan of Dungeons and Dragons.
Maybe I just don't like elves like you.
Maybe. All right, it is time for question number 6. Question number 6 is, what's your favorite knock-knock joke?
Okay, you start. Say knock-knock.
All right. Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Who?
And that's my favorite joke because you put someone else and then they're like, I don't know who's there.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that joke before, and then I feel like the most famous response to that is who, because that was in a movie where someone did that joke to someone else, and they were like, say knock knock, and they go knock knock, and they go, who's there? And then the person kept going who, because they didn't understand in the movie.
Right. Yes.
Do you remember this movie?
I don't think I've seen that movie.
Oh.
Potentially.
Oh, so you thought that? Oh, you didn't know where that joke came from?
Well, I thought it was just one of those street jokes.
Oh no, it's a movie joke.
From the streets.
Well, I can clearly say no bell.
It's from what film?
I wish I could remember what film it was, but if I Google,
I know
if I spend some time Googling it, what is it? What movie is it from? Dave?
It's from Aren't You Glad I Didn't Say Banana?
Oh my gosh, Dave!
Have you guys seen that? What?
You are masterful at wasting my time.
Look, okay. I'm gonna politic for myself real quick. I think that unless you can remember the film that it was in, I get a bell.
Oh, you are incorrect.
Nope. I'm gonna put my foot down. This is all right. This is my foot.
Yep. All right. I see it.
It's
there
down.
It is.
Oh,
it's down.
I see it.
Yes.
So
all right.
I'm gonna get a bell, Victor.
Yes.
Victor.
Mm-hmm.
Let the record show Tracy McClendon has put her foot down.
Victor.
For no other reason than perhaps exercise.
I think I know what's going to happen right now. If
you can't remember this film without Googling it in the next 10 seconds, I'm going to bomb the Mall of America.
All right. So we've gotten to this point where you're making threats, which you're obviously not going to do. All right.
You don't know.
But that signals me that you're giving up.
You don't know.
So I suggest that we move on now that you've actually answered all 6 of your questions. It's time to decide whether or not you get $5. Don't you want to figure that out?
Let's figure it out.
All right, let's figure it out. So we're going to decide whether or not you get $5. But before we do that, it's time for you to tell people out there how they can find you. So how can people find you out there?
I am at Clearly Genius on all social media sites, including Facebook. That's a / Clearly Genius on Facebook because it's but Twitter, TikTok, which I don't have any videos, and Instagram, and just you can come on in, look at my stuff, maybe interact with me. Who knows?
Right. Tracy McClendon at
I'm
Clearly
selling
Genius.
feet pics.
She's selling feet pics. All right, so check them out if you like feet. All right, it is time to figure out whether or not you get $5. As we do always, we're going to canvass the room. What do you think, Dave? Should Tracy get $5 for her appearance on the show?
I was going to say no until she screamed out her story about the feet pics. So now I'm going to change my answer to yes.
All right, Dave. Let's hope that gets you the foot pics that you obviously want. Dave Hill, what do you think? Should Tracy get $5 for her appearance on the show?
Yes, I feel strongly about it. I couldn't. I mean, like, if you don't give it to her, I will. That's how strongly I feel about it.
Oh wow. Okay, that's pretty strong. All right,
that is. Really
Ian,
strong.
what do you think? Should Tracy get $5 for her appearance on the show?
She should. She absolutely should. Very entertaining. Very funny.
Very entertaining and very funny. And also, let's ask our producer, Rachel Teichman, also a licensed therapist, by the way, licensed and practicing therapist. We're the only comedy show with a license and practicing therapist. What do you think? Should Tracy get $5 for her appearance on the show?
Yes, because people on this show, there's like a long history of people randomly showing their feet on camera for no reason. And Tracy did that and it caught me by surprise. Like it always catches me by surprise.
You mean it catches you by surprise when people in just like a conversation show their feet?
On this show specifically on camera, I'm always a little bit like, how did we get here?
All right.
And so, yeah. Give her the $5.
All right. Okay. So that was Rachel's opinion that you should get $5. All right. See you later, Rachel. Please deactivate your camera. Wow. Okay. Tracy, you're the last person to ask. What do you think? Should you get $5 for your appearance on the show?
What is should? I feel like we should redistribute wealth to Black women, and for that reason, yes, I believe that $5 should be given to me.
All right. Well, I will tell you this. You are going to get $5, but not from the show. Dave Hill has already agreed to give you $5. So luckily, you get $5 anyway with me having to do nothing, which is great.
Man.
All right. So congratulations on winning $5 from Dave Hill.
Thank you.
Dave Rosinsky, what did you learn from this week's show?
We learned about life on the commune. We learned not to body shame the secretly pregnant.
All right.
Find out before you say something after the shower.
Yeah, that's right. I don't. That's a thing. Don't ask people if they're pregnant a lot. All right, everybody, check us out at Six Unseemly and all social media and unseemlyquestions.com.
Starburns Audio, a podcast network.